morning, my dear children. Once again, I welcome you on my channel English Vision. Here, we will continue the chapter of the passports. This is the part of Unit 2, Wit and Humour. Day before yesterday, we started the chapter and we learned the 2 pages. Today, we will start from the last stanza, from the last paragraph of 35 page. So open the book and be ready for the explanation. Pickle and Pepper decided this was on an adventure and started to run about, inspired by some other kids who were doing the same. Now they were waiting for the calling for the man of the passport office. So they were all the 3 kids waiting, including the mother and father. So now the Pickle and Pepper, who are Pickle and Pepper? The twin sons of the writer Yashodhara and Lal and her husband. So they decided this was all an adventure started to run about. They were knowing and they were having the amusement. They were knowing that it is the adventure, the amusement. So they were walking here and there and they make fun with each other. And they were inspired by some other children. Means they were not starting to run, but they saw that the other children were running over there. So they were also doing the same. My attempts at admonishing them. Attempts at admonishing, admonishing means warning. So the writer was giving the warning to them not to run here and there in the passport office. And telling them about the seriousness of this whole venture went unheard. And she was there to tell them about the security and about the seriousness of the work, and they are not in the public place, they are there in the government office. They tried to slip into a curtain of area and the girl told them to get out, which they didn't and just went to create havoc elsewhere. They tried to slip into a curtain of means congested area, not allowed. They were moving here in the office and already so many people were there in the office, so they were not allowed to run here and there, and they were having the warning by the guard of that office, of that passport office, and he was giving the warning to them not to run here and there, which they did and just went to create havoc elsewhere. Havoc means disturbance. Because they were running here and there and they were making the disturbance. If they will not sit there, then they will let him out. I gave up trying to figure out where they were and just sat there with a quiet peanut. And I tried to search them that where they were running, and all of us were sitting near Peanut. Until I stopped them, opening the door and trying to escape into the bright sunlight. And I was trying to spot them, means I trying to find out where they are and opening the door and was trying to escape from the bright sunshine, means the bright sunshine was there and I was trying to escape from there. A few sharp words from me brought them in again and caused people sitting around me to edge away slightly. Something also mingled me, few sharp words from me, means there were some words and they were so much sharp and they gave me the warning not to do this again and caused people sitting around me to edge away slightly. Means I was doing the things, I was doing the words, I was saying something to my children, and the people who were sitting near me, they were having the problem and they changed their places to sit. Vijay came back triumphant. In a matter of moments, the names of the 3 kids were called out in quick succession. Triumphant, victory, successful. Here I didn't get the meaning, but its meaning is successful. They got the victory. Vijay came back there and he was having the feeling that he has getting the victory. and in the matter of moments means they were there to come for the passports. So at the time of that moment, the names of these three kids were called out and they were having the quick succession, the successfulness. The man behind the counter couldn't see them at all, but he didn't seem perturbed. Perturbed, here the perturbed means worried. They were having the worriness on their face, and the man who was sitting behind the counter and he was not there to see them all, and he was not too much disturbed. He was simply normally sitting there. Is he here? He asked Vijay. He was asking to Vijay that the boy is there. Papa raised his hand and waved over the counter, and the sight of his little white palm was apparently enough for the man. The man who was working behind the window in the office, he was asking to Vijay, where is Papa? So Papa at randomly raised his hand and waving in the air, and he was sitting, he was hidden inside behind the little white palm tree, and he was moving his hand to indicate that he was there. He proceeded to do the same for the other two. Then we had to go to the actual passport making area. Then he called out the other two names for pickle and peanut, and the same procedure was being done there, and again they had to go in the another window after doing that work. It was about 9:45 a.m. by the time we entered. What ensued in those 15 minutes is not very clear in my memory. Now it was the time at 9:45 and we were there on time, and each and everything was mingled in my mind that how all the work will be completed within 15 minutes. Suddenly the electronic notice board was flashing our numbers. We had to go to the counter C5, C6 and C20. All the three kids were having the number. They were having C5, C6 and C20, and the light was flashing on the window on the notice board, and the number was showing that now their turn has come. Okay, you take pickle to go C6. I will take the other two, said my husband. Now my husband advised me to go with pickle, whose number was C6, and he was carrying other two boys, Papa and Pickle, for the another window. Okay, but before I could ask him anything, he had disappeared with two of our children. I went trailing after him, with Pickle trailing after me, and soon was at the depths of another unsmiling young man. Okay, but she was wanting to ask something from her husband, but as she was trying, he went away from there, and he was disappeared with the two other boy children, and he went trailing after him. She trying to following. She trying to follow the husband and the two boy kid, and after her, Pickle was following, and soon was at the depths of another unsmiling young man, and another depth has come, another window has come, and the unsmiling man was sitting there. Means they were too much busy to do the work, so they were not having any smile on their faces. So they came near the desk where the unsmiling man, normal man, was sitting there. He asked for Pickle's application form and the photocopy of the birth certificate. He was asking for the Pickle's documents like application form, photograph, photocopy of the birth certificate, etc. I fumbled with the file, took them out and gave them to him. Fumbled, investigated, tried. Means he was investigating in hurry and worry. She was confused, and in the confusion she was searching into the file, and he was taking them out from the file and gave him all the papers. Move to the side, madam. I had to take his photograph. Okay, I moved to the side. Stop moving around a little. So the desk man was saying that you have to take your side because I had to take the photograph of this little one, and she took aside and stopped moving around little boy. The man warned the little boy not to move here and there. Pickle had his photo taken. Then there was a thumb impression taking exercise. Vijay appeared saying that he needed the file with our passports, and by the way, since Papa's counter was right next to Pickle's, I might as well as handle both side by side. Now the father of these three kids were doing also the work, and Pickle was there to give the photograph, and now the turn was to take the thumb impression, and she was giving all the things. And now this time Vijay appeared, and he was saying that he is needing the file, he is having the file, he is needing the file of the passports. And now they were seeing that the papa's counter was right to the next of the Pickle, and she was doing, the mother, the author was doing the work one by one, side by side. Means she now took over the work of Pickle as well as Peanut. He was off again to Peanut's counter. Before I could say a word, the new guy who was to handle Papa's passport took his picture and the passport application and asked me where the parents' passports were. Now they were there, and he was off again to Peanut's counter. The husband went away to take Peanut to do the activity of Peanuts, and they went there, and the writer was wanting to say something, but she was unable. The new guy who was to handle Papa's passport. Now the another person was there, and he was handling the Papa's passport, and he also taking the picture of passport. Taking the picture of Papa, and the passport application was there, and he was asking about the passport of the parents. I said, wait a minute please, and ran to get them from Vijay, who was nearly done with them by the time I landed. When the man asked about the parents' passport, then I immediately went over my husband Vijay, because he was carrying the file of the passport, and I took all the passports photocopy because he nearly has done the work of the passports photocopy. I snatched our passport from him and ran back and gave them triumphantly to the second man for the passport. I came back to the window where the passport's officer was sitting, and he was asking the parents' passport. I was feeling so much happy because I took all the papers and immediately gave to the person, the second man, and he was ready to do the paper. The man who was doing Pickle's passport asked me for some signature on a document to be submitted to the municipal authority. The man who was doing Pickle's passport asked me for some signatures. Means the man who was sitting there and preparing the papers of the Pickle passport, he asked the signature on the documents before submitting the municipal authority. In the meantime, the two men started to argue about the necessity of thumb impression, but the first guy convinced the second it was needed. There, two people were fighting against the signature on the paper, on the thumb impression, and the first guy was there to explain him that it is needed for the officers. So Papa also gave his thumb impression. He couldn't quite keep still, so it took a few tries. He was too much naughty student, so he didn't give the thumb impression the first try as Peanut gave, because he was too much in hurry and worry. He was moving and he was not sitting quite still, so he gave few tries. The man was a bit impatient, which made me even more nervous. The man was not too much patient, so he was giving me the nervous feelings. This part done, we went ahead to the next series of counters. Means now these two authorities, these two work have been done. The passports of the parents, the documents of the parents were taken, the thumb impression and the photograph also were taken. Now they went for the next work, next procedure to another window. This time again we went lucky enough that two of the counters were next to the each other. Now this time again they were lucky because all the three kids were having the nearer counters. They were at the same place. And the parallel proceeding started to get a bit confusion because speed and time were clearly of the essence. Essence here, essence means particular moment. So they were giving the speed, means in the speed they had to do the work and they were giving all the things in the particularly manner in the particular moment and they had to do all the things in that same time. There was a lady whose job seemed to be to make people uncomfortable in the process of keeping things moving along. There was a lady who was doing the job to be appear there for the people who were uncomfortable to arranging the papers, to arranging the process of the things, and they were moving here and there. N20, she barked at me twice. Are you N20? Now she was barking, she was shouting at me that your number is N20. I am indeed N20, madam, but right now I am struggling with the documents of N18, which my husband keeps stealing from me for N19. She agreed that yes, I am N20, but I am this time busy to do the work in the procedure of N18, and my husband is doing the work for the N19. She was unconvinced by my answer and just shouted in my ear again, N20, you need to go to the counter and file it. She didn't give any notice on my words, but immediately and again she shouted near my ear and that you are N19 and immediately you have to go to M5 window immediately. A flurry of documents, original photocopies, my children running about and unfriendly faces were making me very disoriented. A flurry of documents means the messing, the hurriness of the document, the original, the photocopies, each and everything was in flurry, in hurry and worry, and the children were also running here and there. Each and everything was messy. Means they were having the confusion to control each and everything. And unfriendly faces were making me very disoriented. Disoriented means confused. Disoriented, confused. So, unfamiliar faces were there and they were giving the confusion to her. And it was only because of the presence of the calm, unperturbed 6 feet 2 gentlemen milling about with a big folder and 3 sub-files that we managed to get through the whole thing without incident. It was only because of the presence of the calm, unperturbed stable means there was a man who is 6 feet 2, 6 feet and 2 inches tall young man, and he was stable and calm and doing all the works with folder and 3 sub-files, and we were there to manage all the things in front of him without any incident. It was only at the gate there we were submitting our final application receipt that was some pending. Now the last procedure was there to submit the application, final application receipt, and it was near the gate. Where is Papa's receipt? I cried. It was with you all along. I knew it, I waved and then Vijay pointed to my right. I was confused. Within 15 minutes, I was not feeling easiness and I was confused. In the confusion, I was searching the receipt of Papa and I was shouting, I was having disturbance and I was crying. I knew it that it was with you, and where is Papa's receipt? So without any hesitation, without any chaos, my husband Vijay pointed me to my right and I had kept the receipt firmly locked under my armpit for some reason. And I put the receipt under my armpit. What was the reason behind it? It is not sure, but I put it there. I had the receipt firmly long and I drew it out sheepishly and handed it to the fellow behind the counter, and just like that we were done sheepishly, tamely. So she was having the confusion, she was tense, she was nervous, and she was shy. With the shyness, she drew it, she take it out from the armpit and handed it to the fellow man, the officer who was waiting for the receipt in the at the counter. And now all the procedure were done. Not bad. Vijay declared as he stepped out at the door. I counted to make sure that there were 5 of us, as Vijay said. It is only 10. Now we were smiling and we were surprised. We were happy that Vijay was there to declare that all the things will be done within 15 minutes. And now, yes, this is the time at 10 o'clock, and we stepped out from the office. What? I was shocked. The series of lines in stamping, photographs, signatures, counters, and 20s being had taken us only 15 minutes. And we were actually done. She was shouting and she was having confusion, she was vague, she was in worriness, and she was saying, what? My God, means all the things were too much difficult to do within 15 minutes. But they have done all the things, all the series of the lines, the stamping, the photographs, the photocopies, the signature, all the things, all the tabs, all the counters, all the numbers, all the N20s, all the things were done within 15 minutes. With three passport application all done. We walked to the car, and as we got in, I marveled at the change. Marveled, surprised. Marveled, surprised. Now they went out from the office and they was wanting to sit in the car, and she was shocked and surprised to see that change. I remembered how difficult it had been getting my own passport done in Bangalore several years ago. She was reminding that how much difficulty was there when she was there to make her own passport in Bangalore before several years. So she was having so much difficulty, but now this time only within 15 minutes the work was done. The details failed me. I recall that their system had consisted of a cover of 100 people sitting around the room and a security guard who would tell us to shift up as the people in front of seats went up to the counter. Now each and everything has been changed, and the shifting is there, and all the counters and all the men, all the people, the guards, each and everyone is there to call out the name, and all the things are in the procedure. And this time they didn't waste their so much time. I sat on about 100 chairs in the process of shifting, and I was there to change 100 chairs. Means we were in the queue and we were changing the chairs to come for the number. I look at my phone now. There was 3 messages. Your passport application has been received and the printing of the passport has been initiated. Now she saw the phone, and there were 3 messages in which the message was written that the passport application has been received, and now the passport has been for the printing. I showed it to Vijay wordlessly, and he took very impressed. He was too much impressed, and I gave it. I saw the messages to my husband, and we were wordlessly. We were not having any word to say. Can we have ice cream? The kids started to plead. My reaction was to say no as always, but then I gave it and not. And to see the ice cream hawker, my kids were shouting that they are wanting to eat ice cream. As usually, I was there to say no, but this time I say yes, and I gave it to them. This was indeed cause to celebrate. They were going to get their passport. We might even get to travel internationally as a family soon, maybe even to Asia. Now this time was for cheering up because we have success in passport making, and we need to celebrate all the things. Now we will get the passports and we will move. We will have the trip in the international traveling and with the family, and maybe it will be Asia. The author refers to her children using pseudonyms. Now all the things were in humor. There was no any chaos, no any havoc, but even then the writer was there to make the chaos. And the names were written in the humorous manner. So the story has been finished here, and we will finish our video here. I hope that you are learning from my videos. If you are if you are new on my channel, then please subscribe. If you didn't subscribe my channel, then subscribe my channel. Like my videos. Bye bye.